Anthony, walk us through what happens during this election certification process at State House.
Absolutely, Esther. So across Georgia, votes were counted in local precincts, local election boards, but then now all the results are tabulated. They've been sent to the Secretary of State's office. But now legislators will convene here at the Georgia State Capitol to vote on the certification of the election results. So this is really just kind of a formal process, or a little bit of an informal process, I should say, a formality of Georgia election officials coming together and certifying the election and showcasing to their citizens that they have confidence in the election and that they will then send all of those results, like you mentioned, to Washington, D.C. ahead of January 6th and January 20th, which will be President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration day.
Anthony, I understand there have been some sort of controversy leading up to the certification from the local election officials. What more do you know?
Absolutely. About a month before, election officials, local election officials, and a lot of these suburban swing counties around the Atlanta metropolitan area had raised the question of whether or not they could call investigations into a potential election interference, election security issues. The Georgia Supreme Court actually overruled the local election officials and said that they have to certify the election results regardless of what happens, regardless of who wins, and regardless of what numbers are telling them. Unfortunately, for them, the local election official, there were definitely some security issues, but now the state will be able to come in and say, if there are any problems, we will be the ones to make those decisions for you on behalf of you. But as of right now, there really aren't any problems to report, at least on the local level. And I actually had the chance to look into some on election night, and there really weren't any problems. So this will go to the State House for the certification process. Really no problem within the next 10 days.
Anthony, but when do Georgians expect, this election to be certified? Because a lot of people are waiting to know where are we with this?
So Georgian election officials have a legal deadline, actually, of 12 days after the election has concluded. So certainly this gives enough time for candidates to request recounts. The state can come in if there are any election issues, if there are any mail-in ballots that might be late. But for the most part, the election is set. The election is all set heading into that election certification process. So we should expect within the next 10 days now, after 2 days after the election, to see legislators come here to the Georgia State Capitol, vote, and then send them straight on to Washington, D.C.